Good morning. Happy October 28th. It's almost Halloween, and you can see I got my hair done for the occasion. Um, yeah, it's a wig, obviously. Whenever I wear a wig, which granted is not often, I'm always reminded of my favorite author for children, for adults. His name is Roald Dahl, Roald. And he's long since passed away, but you might remember him from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He wrote James and the Giant Peach, and one of the books that he wrote, which is appropriate for this time of year, is called The Witches. Now, there was a movie made with Angelica Houston, I think, is the main witch. It's terrifying, and I watched it as an adult, so I don't recommend it as a movie, but as a book, The Witches by Roald Dahl is excellent. And in that book, witches wear wigs because they are born bald as a boiled egg. So when the witches go to their witch conference, they, as soon as they're in a private hotel ballroom and the doors are closed and locked and guarded, then the head witch says, "Okay, ladies, you can remove your wigs." And they all remove their wigs, and they're just itching their poor itchy scalps. Because if you don't have hair and you're wearing a wig and it has that canvas on the inside, it's very uncomfortable. See? So it's all explained in the book. So that's my Halloween reading for you, whether you're an adult or a child. The Witches by Roald Dahl. Good morning, Jessica. So, Jess, I have a to-do item. I have written a pattern for the caps for the new mitts, and I'm going to have to send it to you so that we can update our Cosmic Truth hat and mitt set pattern. And Jess, I promise that in our next kit, we will design it once and it'll be ready. We're giving ourselves a few months, so that's my promise to you. So this morning, I wanted to show you the new colorway of our Cosmic Truth hat and mitt set, and it's called Snow Day. So it has these lovely like charcoal gray parts, and it gets lighter and lighter and goes to a cream color. And then there are little flecks of pink and even little flecks of like a mottled green. So yeah, the color is so pretty. Yeah, I love it. And then on the mitts, as I was just telling Jess, I've added a cap so that your fingers can be warm and only your thumb remains out so that you can hitchhike, which I don't recommend, but you could if you wanted to. Or you could just give someone a thumbs up like that. So the nice convertible mitts are here. And this pattern is available in our Crate Joy subscription box, which you can get by visiting thespinninghand.cratejoy.com. You said, or send a text message. Tell me what you mean. Okay. Next, I want to tell you about how to get early Black Friday sale access. If you are already on our email list and you want to get access to our Black Friday sale 12 hours before the public, then head on down to thespinninghand.com/Black Friday and you'll be put on the VIP list. So we have special orders that are going out to only the first 100 customers. You're the only people who are going to get this special sale, and then we're turning it off because it is the deepest discount that we've offered this year. So I know it's only Halloween and I'm already talking about Black Friday. Forgive me. Both Jess and I like to be organized. We like to work ahead of time. So we are setting up our list now. So head on over to thespinninghand.com/Black Friday and sign up so you can get early access to the Black Friday deals. Oh, just okay. So yes, this is what else you could do is you can send a text message with your thumbs. Thank you, Jess. You're so right. I'm so out of it, and like, my son, of course, who's texts all the time, would be like, "Duh, mom, that's what she's talking about." So yeah. So we have our convertible mitts, and even if your fingers are nice and warm, you can still send text messages with your thumbs. Beep, 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 beep. Thank you. Thank you for the giggles. Good morning, Jerry. How are you? How was your lace making class from the other night? That sounded just fascinating. Jess and I were in our crochet along, and you had said that you had a lace making class. So that sounds so interesting. I'm always fascinated by crafts that seem to take more patience than knitting does. So, where if you can make an inch of lace in an hour, that's progress, And then sometimes when I'm knitting with bulky yarn, which I'm making a sweater right now out of super bulky yarn, I can make an inch in a row. Oh, I've got my coffee this morning. So we have so many exciting things planned for November. I am really, it's looking like the holidays around here, around my apartment. Jess and I are putting together these beautiful kits, and we have some beautiful like needle sets for you, some project bags from Fat Bottom Bags, and of course, all the gorgeous yarn. And we may or may not, we are having a yarn of the day sale next week. So every day, starting on Monday, we'll pick a different yarn, and you can get a deep discount on that yarn each day. So if you're not already a member of our email list, make sure that you sign up and join. That's at thespinninghand.com/join, and you'll be notified. I think, Jess, that we're going to send out text messages too. So if you're already getting our text messages, you're all set. Wow. So Jerry says it's going okay, meaning the lace making. I've been working on my mat for 2 years. I love it. And sometimes when I see these beautiful things that my grandmother has made, and they're made with these hooks that, you can't even see the hook. It's so little. I just think about how much time she spent on them. And, she's long since passed away, but we enjoy, the things that she's made. I enjoy them, and I know my children will enjoy them, and my grandchildren will enjoy them. So it's heirloom work for sure. It's not quick and easy gratification, and there's a time and a place for that, but it's something in between. So I would say that this is something in between. Like, if you take good care of your hat and your mitts, your woolen pieces, and we include wool wash so that you can keep it nice and fresh, and you don't have to wash your hat and mitts too often. I mean, obviously, unless they get dirty, but like a couple times a season, if you're wearing them all the time, and especially like if you wear a lot of makeup and you get makeup on your hat and you just want to give it a nice rinse, if you keep it nice and clean, your hat will last for years and years and years. And so it makes an incredible gift. And the yardage is so generous in this one ball of yarn that you can make this entire hat. You can make both mitts and the caps and still have yarn left over. And I made a tiny sweater with mine. So I'll be showing you tiny sweaters in another video, but the yarn just keeps on going and going. It's the Energizer Bunny of yarns. So it's a really good yarn to use. So I'm going to take down this banner in a minute, but one more time, if you want to get early access to our Black Friday sale, go ahead and check out thespinninghand.com/Black Friday. And that will give you 12 hours ahead of time a chance to buy all the beautiful things that will sell out, because we do have limited inventory when we get to Black Friday. And I'll share this link with you again in future Facebook Lives, but I just wanted to give you a super early chance to get on the list. So almost a month ahead of time, and I'm just going to be repeating this message. You definitely want to be early because we're definitely going to sell out. So awesome. Okay. I wanted to take a minute today, and actually, Jess and Jerry, the three of us, we had spoken about this a little bit during a recent crochet along, is your origin story. So, how did you get started with knitting, or did you get started with crochet? And I find that most people go in one direction or the other, where they were pretty little and a family member taught them maybe to crochet a chain. That's exactly what happened to me. That was my mom. She taught me how to crochet a chain. She always had yarn in the house. She still does. And she would buy me needlepoint kits and, like plastic frame needlepoint kits. And as I got a little older, but not too much older, I was doing cross stitch. So like really counted cross stitch, very small. And I didn't learn to knit until I was about 22. And I went to Florida with my mom and dad. And I was sort of a mother's helper to my little brother, who was 11 at the time. And so we went to Disney World and I went on the rides with him and we had an amazing time. And my great aunt also lived close to Disney World in Florida. Oh, Jess says, I started with latch hook kits. Yes, how can I forget about latch hook kits? They're the best. Yeah, I loved latch hooking. I didn't do friendship bracelets as like religiously as some people did. But that's yes, another great place to start. And I think like kind of overlooked these days, like um I don't see latch hook kits as often, but even my brother liked them too. And he's definitely like a guy's guy. Um, Both of my brothers liked them. I'm laughing because I remember my littlest brother doing a latch hook kit of Marvin the Martian, and I just thought it was the cutest thing ever. Oh, I wish I had it. I really wish I still had it. Okay, here's my Marvin the Martian voice. Ooh, isn't that lovely? No, there's not as much growl. That was more Pee Wee Herman. Ooh, ooh, isn't that lovely? That's my Marvin the Martian. You're never going to hear that again. What's in this coffee? I think it's the wig. I think it's the wig that's giving me a little bit more pizzazz today. And I am definitely, by the way, after our Facebook Live, I'm going to the car repair shop. Poor Minnie, my red Minnie, is in the shop. Um, the car mechanic, he can't get the hood open. So I haven't gotten my oil changed since before quarantine, since before the pandemic started. And and so I obviously needed an oil change and he couldn't get the hood open. As far as I know, he still can't. But the latch inside the car, he pulled it so hard that he broke it and pulled the cable out. So I don't even know what's happening with my car, but the garage is close enough to my house that I can walk there. So I am wearing this wig and walking there and saying, look, what's going on with my car? But I don't have to be mean with him. He's actually really lovely. Um, so yeah, I think I'm going to rock this wig today. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling myself. Jerry says, I learned chains, like crocheting chains from my grandmother. Didn't really learn to knit, maybe, or to crochet. Yeah, to crochet, because I know, Jerry, you learned to knit more recently, and you're a little bit older than 25, a little bit. But you didn't really learn to crochet until you were 25, and then self-taught from Coates and Clark's learned to crochet for 35 cents. I love it. One of my favorite things to do is to go to garage sales, estate sales, and find these like older patterns and magazines and sewing notions. That's the best. I love that. I went to an estate sale and the woman had lived in this house for 50 years, and she'd been married for 50 years. And she had a wonderful sewing box, like with the coolest things inside, like little bits and bobs. And I still haven't gone through everything, but it was really cool. So yeah, so I was down in Florida, and I was, this is when I first learned to knit, and it was a very awkward experience. So, my great aunt, she knitted constantly. She would sit in her trailer. She lived in a very modest neighborhood with dirt roads, and it was mostly trailers, but they were trailers that were like cemented to the ground. Trailers nonetheless, but um, which is fine. So she would sit there in her very modest house and knit slippers, these garter stitch slippers for veterans. And she would donate them to the local VA by the dozens. So when she ended up passing away a few years later, maybe even 10 years later, we had, there were just piles of slippers ready to be donated, and people would donate red heart acrylic to her and donate knitting needles to her. Everyone knew Aunt Mary, and so they would give her all these supplies. So I said, I really want to learn how to knit. This was a time in my life when I was about to move to New York City, and I wanted to be chic, even though I've never been chic in my life. But I wanted to have like an all black wardrobe and wear like a really long, long gray scarf. I thought, oh, that's the epitome of chicness. So yeah, she put some acrylic yarn in my hands and these sticky plastic needles, and I couldn't figure it out at first. It was really awkward, and she was so fast, and she had it, the memory was in her fingers so easily that she's like, you do it like this. Somehow I thought it would be more like, tossing a salad. I didn't understand the mechanics of it. And I, I did my best. I was like, awkward angles, and my foot was flexed in a weird way. And I practiced on the plane ride home. This was before 9/11, but not too far before 9/11. And so knitting needles were no big deal on the planes, and they're not any big deal right now. Um, and yeah, I practiced, but there was no YouTube, and I couldn't really figure out how to I couldn't figure out how to cast on. Heaven help me. I couldn't figure out how to purl until I met a woman at church who like sat me down and said, okay, here's how you do it. But it was a year that I was just knitting and no purling. So I always say to my students, you are not going to be a slower student than I was. You will get the hang of it quicker than I did. And I have to say, YouTube is marvelous, especially if you can't get to someone in person who can sit down and help you specifically. And now with Zoom, there's really like a possibility that you know, you can have a lesson online, and it's not the same as in person, but it's close. Um, so yeah, I, and I just love it. I mean, I do crochet sometimes, but knitting is definitely my go-to. And it's changed my life, right? Obviously. It's completely taken over my life. So I'm a convert. So, how about you? I would love to hear about your origin story. Sometimes the best conversations take place after the video has already been recorded. So, if you were watching the replay, go ahead and comment below the video. And I'd love to hear, go ahead and email me at thespinninghand@gmail.com. I'd love to hear about your knitting or crochet origin story. And who knows, we might be able to feature you and your story in a future video. So I hope you have a very, very happy Halloween. Jerry and Jess, I hope to see you tonight or pretty soon. And thank you for joining me. It's always easier to do these when I have friends to talk to. So thank you. All right. Wish me luck. Think good thoughts for Minnie, my car. I hope they can get her oil changed. So talk to you soon. Bye.